behind us, right on the side of us. You could kind of see the thing moving through the woods.
All I can remember is flipping the light on, and I see this creature, and I knew in my heart, I knew in my mind, in the whole night, this isn't a man.
And then this thing walks across the road, takes a turn towards us, and then leaps over a guardrail.
Went to look forward, and there was a big black thing, is all I
Welcome to Squatch-D TV, exploring the Bigfoot mystery each week with your hosts, veteran researcher, author, and TV personality, the Squatch detective, Steve Kulls, and from the Bigfoot Research Project of Kentucky, Chris Bennett. Sit back and buckle up as we bring you guests from around North America discussing the Bigfoot phenomena, but not without a few laughs, too. Here are your hosts, Steve and Chris.
And good evening, cyberspace. Welcome to Squatch-D TV for today's date, September 19th, 2021. I'm your host, your guide, the Squatch Detective Steve Kulls, along with the man downstairs, Mr. Chris Bennett.
Steve, what's happening, my man?
What's going on, Chris? How you doing, brother?
Oh, we're doing good, doing good. I see the chat room is really hopping over here already.
We're getting there. So we're going to go down the old roll call as usual. Who's here, who's not right now? Of course, we got first in the house tonight was Am and Chris. Hello, Am and Chris. Good to see you.
Welcome. Yeah,
number
one.
B is in the house. We got John Swan. Hello, John. Jay Fritz, good to see you, brother. And Mr. Bob Fritz. Lemley, hello to you. What's happening? Well, we're going to find out. And may the Squatch be with you as well.
Yeah.
And Brian and Chewy go hiking. Hello, Brian and Chewy. Awesome. So here we are, and that's of course, it takes a while for people to kind of filter in.
Yeah. Get some more people rolling in, hopefully. We always have a good crowd over on our YouTube, and I really appreciate all of the listeners.
Absolutely.
And great questions and stuff, man. I love that. I love the participation. It's wonderful.
That's right. And please give a like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it all as our channel tends to grow every week. We are tipping that 3,200 mark right now. Chris, we're getting very close. Very close.
That's good for us.
Yeah, we're doing all right. So anyway, a lot, not much going on in the Bigfoot world tonight, except for I did catch a YouTube video this week. I was notified of it. Talking about the different species of a Sasquatch, which kind of makes it kind of interesting. Of course, they referenced the Miller doc, which we've completely destroyed and debunked. The Miller doc, again, was that hoax perpetrated by Linda Newton Perry on Bigfoot Ballyhoo. Everything from the loggers to the actual doctor has been completely debunked and not so good.
You know, I really believe that, Steve, once they start trying to determine the different subgroups of species within the Bigfoot family there, they kind of lose me. It's like they're putting the cart before the horse, because first thing we got to do, we got to prove we have
one
species. Yes.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I was asked about that. I did a show called the Forest Fleur. Yeah. This past week. It's a podcast. Check it out. You can find it. Just Google it. Forest Fleur, FLEUR. Bigfoot Anonymous is in. Bigfoot Anon. Yep, we all need that. What's up, Bigfoot Anon? Welcome,
Bigfoot Anon. Good, welcome
to Squatch-D TV. Right. So I was on this podcast last week, and the question was posed to me. Do you think there are other species of Bigfoot? And again, my typical response to that is, it's tough enough. We're trying to say there's one species of Bigfoot. That's a huge stretch according to science as it is. However, see, Forest Fleur is great. Emma's a legend. Yes, they are good, great people. Actually, I'm going to be meeting them next week. We'll get into that in a second. But to me, people saying, well, are there many different species? No, it's a stretch to saying there's one. But what we tend to forget is, like us, there are races of hominid. There's races of Homo sapiens. Yep. So perhaps there's different races. I mean, you look at dimorphism in us. Right. I mean, there's 6'5", 6'7" folks normally, 6'2", 6 foot, 5 foot, 5'4". We have the pygmies, which are traditionally like in the 5 foot range. So we are very, we have very big burly people. We have very slender, slim, tiny people. We are very dimorphic. And again, a lot of that has environmental factors and sometimes nutritional factors as well. Yeah. So to me, maybe we're talking about different races of Bigfoot, but not different species. Yep. So, and
there's always different reports of hair color,
hair color, skin tone,
black ones, brown ones, reddish brown hair, gray, dirty white.
Yeah, but that's normal in all of our races. We have, if you look at a Caucasian, we have we have black, brown, blonde, red, auburn. That in between different types of hairstyles. Right. So. It's not too difficult for primates. If you look at orangs, they have different shades of red in their some look kind of brownish, some look bright red.
Really, so, you can go from a brownish to a really orange, almost looking.
Yeah. And Bob Lemley says, I don't think there's a subspecies. I think all animals adapt to their habitat, become a product of environment. I agree.
That's a good point, Bob. Yeah,
that's a very good point. Okay, so we got OT in the house, and OT, who else?
Welcome.
Jay said an old everything's moving in the chat. Old fat people like me. No.
Okay, come on, Jay. Let's not talk about fat people here now, because
right. And Patrick, hey, welcome, Patrick, as well. Patrick said there should be slight variance within their species just to do different demands of geography. Yeah, I agree. And Central Florida, Bigfoot's in the house. So folks are wandering in.
Yeah.
Central Florida. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Guess who else is in the house? Bigfoot Okanagan. Welcome. So everybody's popping in.
Oh, man, guys, it's good to have you. Yeah. We get you back on, too.
We got to get Leon back on here.
Yeah.
So, so that question was posed to me, and that's the answer. I said, maybe there's different races, which may attune for some, not necessarily dimorphism, but some of their skin tonations, or maybe they're, why does this one seem to have a flatter face than the other ones?
Even
or why?
facial features. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So don't know. It could be, or it could be just environmental or nutritional factors as well. So who knows?
A lot of the stuff could be explained, like the build body type could be explained by the environment too. You got those guys that are living in the really heavy, rugged, mountainous terrain,
Yep.
well, chances are they're going to be big barrel-chested,
burlier. Yep.
yeah, big heavy-duty guys. And then you got the ones living in the swamps in Florida. Well, it's not surprised they're kind of scrawny,
Yeah. The skunk apes are not known to be extremely tall, or burly. And the ones in the Northeast tend to be very lanky. So, it's very interesting. So anyway, let's pop over to some news this week. And like I said, there wasn't really much Bigfoot news except that one YouTube video, kind of highlighting the Miller doc, which is garbage. We've proven that. But I've been following the story of Gabby Petito and her fiance, Brian Laundrie. In Central Florida, Bigfoot is in the middle of one half of that battle going on right now. In case people don't know, there was this couple, Brian Laundrie, not laundry spelled like you're doing laundry, but actually it's RIE, the last last name, and his fiance Gabby Petito, and they decided to take a cross country trip, and they very popular on Instagram, at least Gabby is, and taking pictures the whole way of these different travels, trying to be like these outdoorsy types of folks.
Yeah.
And they left, and in August 12th, they apparently had gotten pulled over after some erratic driving by Brian Laundrie. Whoops, I don't need to do that. There we are. And here is some body cam footage of the actual pullover. As we can see, they got pulled over. You can see the van in the shot there. I'm trying to. Now, there's another shot, and there's Gabby in distress a little bit, talking, and she was pulled out of the car and whatnot. So anyway, that was the last anybody really publicly saw of Gabby. That was on August 12th. The family heard from her again on August 25th. Then between the 25th and the 30th, they heard from her once on the 30th. However, the family believed it was not her writing it because it did not sound like her, did not write like her, did not, respond to the questions like she normally would.
Right.
So on September 1st, guess who shows up back home in Florida by himself with the van, but Brian Laundrie.
Oh.
Now, what's happened in the last 24 hours has been very extremely interesting and very tragic. There was a lot of pressure on Brian Laundrie to answer questions about, where did he leave Gabby and the family, and the parents aren't talking. Brian Laundrie wasn't talking, and now Brian has gone missing. The police don't know where he is. And so he is somewhere in Florida, and they're searching swamps of Florida and parks in Florida because the family said, oh, well, he went walkabout basically to clear his head because of all this media pressure. So he disappears now. So they're looking for him. Meanwhile, they're trying to figure out where do they search. Now, they got pulled over in Moab, Utah, but they were last known to be in the Grand Tetons in Wyoming. Known as the Spread Creek Dispersion Camp in that area. And the interesting thing was yesterday morning, a YouTuber by the name of Red, White, and Bethune came on and said, hey, you know what? We just happen to be out in this area. And let me pull up their statement. And this is very intriguing. But anyway, we were editing our Sunday video tonight. We were looking at footage from on August 27th. Mind you, this is the period of time they believe she went missing, around 6 p.m. to 6:30. Now, mind you, where they were at Spread Creek, is a hard 2 days drive. I mean, hard. So it would take 2 to 3 days probably to get from that area back to Florida driving without, taking some minimal rest intervals.
Right.
we had passed by a white van with Florida plates. We noticed it because we were originally from Florida and wanted to stop. When we passed the van, all the lights were off. It didn't look like any. So they think this could be the van. Now, here's some interesting things about, you'll see, here's the picture of the van, screen cap from the YouTube video.
Yeah.
And we know it's the same make model.
Right.
The interesting thing I found immediately was, if you look at the police cam, it has the same stickers on the bottom corner.
Okay. Yeah.
So you see that on the video there. But even more interesting, in another screen cap of them passing, and this kind of cements it that it's their vehicle. But if you look very closely, what is on the dashboard of that vehicle? Looks like some sort of hat with a patch on the front of it.
Like a sun hat or something. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Now, when you look at the webcam footage, there's Gabby in distress, and what is on the hood of the car?
Oh, that's the hat. That's it, dude.
That's the vehicle.
Yeah.
So this morning, the state police, the sheriff's department, and the FBI all searched this area where the van was.
Right.
And unfortunately, they have discovered remains.
Oh, man.
And the latest FBI conference was that the remains were consistent with Gabby Petito.
Oh.
So a very, very sad and tragic ending to this story. You know, and well, it's not over yet. I should say it's a very sad conclusion.
I was kind of hoping they would find her alive, like somewhere in Oklahoma.
There was always that hope.
Yeah.
But it was about 2 p.m. Eastern today. They found that body, and they made an initial comment, initial press conference saying they found remains consistent, but they haven't confirmed it. And then they came out a little later saying, well, it is very consistent. We believe it's her.
Right.
And so very, very, very sad ending to her.
Oh, man.
And let's, now let's find this little dirt bag and put him where he belongs. So, it's just unfortunate. And
it's really, it's a tragedy. And a lot of people do that, though, because obviously not kill people, but they travel around in little vans and SUVs and do YouTube videos. Hey, I'm at this place. This is what's here. I really like that stuff.
Yep.
I do. I enjoy watching it. I used to love to travel, and now I really can't travel that much.
And there are some great channels out there, too.
Yeah.
And I'll post some subscription links to them down the road. But there's one guy I watch, I forget his name, Traveling Poor or something like that. And he goes throughout all of Europe and South America and stuff like that. And he goes to some of the worst neighborhoods just to see how they are. He's been through India and stuff like that. He's from England originally. And it's really neat because you get the flavor of the cultures he goes to.
Right.
And some of those places I'd be like, I wouldn't want to go there.
Some of them places they talk about, like, they tell you stories like, oh, you don't want to go in the Bronx at night or something on a certain side of town, in the warehouse district or something.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times that's true.
Well, yeah, but you know what? I've walked the Bronx. I had to when I was working for the feds as an undercover, which I have done. I had to go down to their branch right around the corner from the World Trade Center, where the World Trade Center was.
Wow.
At the Federal District Court, and inside is the FBI headquarters there. And so I had to go in there to get my IDs made up and all that wonderful stuff. And then while my partner was doing his thing, I meandered to the Ground Zero Memorial and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we took the train back to the Bronx where we had parked the vehicle, in a lot. And as we were walking down there, it was probably 9-10 o'clock at night. It was awesome. Yeah. It was like a street carnival. There were vendors on the side of the roads and on the side of the streets, and they were some of the ethnic fruits and vegetables that you don't normally see when you go to like your supermarket. You see these kind of different, casabas. I mean, where you can't go to a restaurant. Can I get a casaba? Well, we don't sell that. So it was really, really a cultural.
Most of those places are like, safe if you go, stick to the main area.
Yeah, and the smells were just phenomenal of all the local fairs.
Yeah.
I was getting hungry. I've done surveillances in Brooklyn, and there was this bakery. Yes. Yeah, it's like, I got to get a cannoli. And they take the shell and they fill them right there.
Yeah.
Okay. And they.
Dude, that was something that I didn't mind about New York, because a lot of the places where I had to go, if you had the window down, you could just this fresh cooked bread smell would like hit you, and you'd be like, God, I'm hungry now. That smells so good. Where's this coming from?
And supermarkets are real smart. Have I ever seen the movie The Warriors? Warriors come out and play. Yeah, absolutely. That's a cult classic. In fact, that was the Warriors. If I'm not mistaken, never mind. I'm confusing it with somebody else.
I have seen that. It's been many years ago, but I remember it's two rival gang, or a rival gang has got one guy wounded. They're trying to get back to their territory.
Yeah, they got set up. They got set up to kill.
I remember that, but it's been wow. I don't know.
Aaron says that today's Happy Talk Like a Pirate Day. Arr, matey. So anyway,
Aaron's been watching those sailing videos on YouTube. I have too, man. I love that.
Before we get to our topic, which we're going to get to in like 10 seconds here, one of the tricks the supermarkets do is they pipe in their baking ovens into the vestibules.
I believe
of the store. So when you walk in, that smell hits you, it gets you hungry, and you tend to buy more groceries.
It works for me. It works on me. Dude, once I smell bread cooking, that's it. I'm hungry.
That's there's nothing else like that smell. Okay, so let's get on with the show tonight. Today we're going to be talking about primate nests, Bigfoot nests, all kinds of neat stuff. And to understand Bigfoot nests, we should look at primate nests and their motivations behind them in types of constructions they use. Right. So here we go. This is the main topic of the night, and we can start a discussion afterwards. And so anyway, nest building in primates. Nest building in primates refers to the behavior of building nests by extant stirrupines, lemurs, and lorisids, and hominid apes, humans, chimpanzees, gorillas, and orangutans. Add your second bullet point here. Oh, I forgot to take that one out.
That's okay.
Hominid apes build nests for sleeping at night, and some species for sleeping during the day. Nest building by hominid apes is learned by infants watching the mother and others in the group, and is considered tool use rather than animal architecture. So there you go there. So arboreal sites are common. Some small monkeys sleep solitary in small groups using tree holes, while many larger primates, that's what we're looking at, sleep on bare branches, even when predominantly terrestrial at times. Very interesting. So in addition, some large body primates sleep terrestrially on bare ground or on cliffs. So some will sleep on bare ground.
Dude, I would not want to sleep on a cliff.
Yeah.
I roll around too much at night.
I get up, take a whoa. I get up to use a tree. So great apes universally build nests in which to sleep at night and sometimes during the day. Nest building is a habitual behavior in great apes. That means it's a habit. So constructions are built for short periods only and never serve as a shelter for caching the young. So in other words, the great apes, not hominids or not Homo sapiens, but because we walk our own path in a lot of different things, although there are things we do that are very similar. So what that's saying is that the nest building is a temporary thing for the great apes, and that they don't build them just to keep their kids in. So they take their kids with them when they go.
Right.
And you'll understand why as we continue on. Hominid apes construct nests during the, primarily for resting. That is the main purpose of the construction, is for just resting. Now, us, it's a little different because we build our houses not only for resting, but for entertainment, for relaxation and hang out. Like, this is a lot of times our homes are our foci areas. If we go back to the primate behavior program. So if you think about it, we understand, a little bit now of why they nest. And welcome, Prairie Fire. You're right. Better late than never.
Prairie Fire.
Nests are not built using instinct, but through behavioral patterns which are learned by the young from their parents or their clan. So this is representative of culture, because different groups will build different types of nests depending on terrain, what's available for material, etc. Wow. Nest building is habitual behavior, and nest counts and fecal analysis at each site can be used to determine estimate hominid ape population counts and composition. Wow. Mike Stetton, good evening.
Hey, Mike.
So if we think about it, if there are nests in any type of creature, there should be scat.
Yeah.
So there should be scat. So,
well, I don't know if they're going to be going in their nests, though.
No, but they'd be going around the nests.
You would think. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, there was in some of the reading I was reading, the chimpanzees are very, very particular about grooming and stuff like that, and their nests actually contain less fecal and body origin microbes than a human Homo sapien bed. Wow. Believe it or not, they're actually cleaner, and it's because of their level of grooming. They spend a lot of their time going behind each other, picking stuff off and stuff like that.
Chimpanzees are famous for that. They love to groom each other. They're very what they call it, interpersonal. They really, hands-on a lot.
Of course, the other thing too is you should think about it, and we'll talk about this in a little bit too. But one of those things is a cleaner bed with less secretions or skin tags or dried skin and stuff like that. Actually lessens the availability of parasitic creatures such as bed bugs, mites, mosquitoes, etc.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Jay, I hate to break this to you, Bigfoot does not lay eggs. Unless it's related to the platypus.
They probably don't, Jay.
Bigfoot. So, Lowrider talking about timber giant Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we know timber giant Bigfoot. Is that the same? I don't know if that's the same dude as. Is that the guy? Is that Jeff Patterson, Timber Bigfoot? I don't know.
No. I think
I don't think so.
Timber Giant was, I think, the one that busted the Ohio tree shaking hoax thing. Wasn't it?
That was Mike Stover.
Oh, Mike. Okay,
that was Mike Stover. And that was.
I'm lost because I haven't watched Timber Giant videos in a long time.
Yeah,
and there's so many channels on YouTube. I get them mixed up. I do watch a lot of it.
I'm going to find out right now.
Yeah. I watched them too. I like, of course, there's some of them that I don't watch because it's obviously, somebody in a gorilla suit playing around.
Yeah. If that's Jeff Patterson, then we know, it's not the guy we want. I'm just doing a quick search here.
Some of my favorites was Butchie Kid. Is it Butchie Kid 624 or something like that? He does the Bigfoot videos, but on his Bigfoot steals a dirt bike and things of that nature. They're pretty funny. And it's obviously a joke. It doesn't make any claims. Oh, this is really Bigfoot.
No, it's not. It's not the same guy as. Okay, yeah, beavers. No, I was gonna say. Anyway.
Yeah, the gorilla hands. That's
The
a
gorilla
good one.
hands. Yep. Okay, timber giants in Canada. Okay, not the same guy. Okay, moving on. So back over here. So here's a chart, basically showing the reasoning why primates will nest where they nest. For example, is it thermoregulation? Is it predator avoidance? Is it for comfort? And you'll see that mostly when it comes to gorilla barangay and gorilla, for the most part, well, for mountain gorilla, they do that for predator avoidance. Whereas gorilla barangay tends to do it for thermoregulation. In other words, keep warm or cool. Considering gorilla barangay is in a jungle atmosphere, I would say it would be to keep cooler. And then it has their selectivity is based on gorilla barangay is based on the site and material. Right. And the same with whereas gorilla barangay is something a little bit different. They actually choose more material than they do site. Yeah. So, and if you look down the road, it'll talk about the chimpanzees and how they like pan troglodyte and the different types of chimps again, thermoregulation, site, and that. Some will choose food resources as another, like the pan peniscus will choose just strangely, they're all about the food. So, and thermoregulation. So, and then secondary to material. So it's, they select their sites, obviously for different reasons. So let's look at each of the great apes. Gorilla nesting. Gorillas construct nests for day and night use. Day nests tend to be single aggregations of branches and leaves on the ground, while night nests are more elaborate constructions, usually on the ground, but sometimes in trees, especially those of juveniles and females in areas submitted to high poaching pressure. Believe it or not, when they get poached, they're smart enough to realize that we got to go upstairs. Right. So to avoid getting, clipped on the ground. Young animals nest with their mother, but do not construct nests until they're 3 years of age, initially in close proximity to their mother. Gorilla nests are distributed randomly in tree species used appears to be opportunistic. So they would only choose trees that, so it's not, like I'm going to pick this particular tree. It's like whatever's available.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah.
OT asks, gorilla, major predators, what, leopards maybe? I remember seeing a show. No. Gorilla, major predators, humans, the poachers. So that's, and they understand that, they understand when one of them gets shot or, just like any other predator, it's no different than like the gorilla barangay, with perhaps a lion or other types of animals. So you got to understand, they understand very well that, hey, they're being predated by humans. So we're going to take our own measure. That's why a lot of them are very leery of humans.
Well, I know chimpanzees are super smart, and I don't really know much about the intelligence of gorillas because I never have had the opportunity to be around the gorillas to do any observation.
Right.
But now with chimpanzees, man, those dudes are smart.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's some examples of gorilla nests.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Now we'll talk about chimpanzee nesting.
Yes.
So nest building is seen in chimpanzees who construct arboreal night nests. That means on the floor, lacing together branches from one or more trees. At some research sites, such as Billy Forest in the Congo, the billy apes, chimpanzees can build a significant proportion of their nests on the ground. And that makes a lot of sense because the billy apes are kind of up there in the predatory range. They're very smart. They're larger than the other chimpanzees. And then nests consist of a mattress. supported on a strong foundation and lined above with soft leaves and twigs. So there's a multi-layer. Unlike the gorilla, it's a multi-layer of supported by twigs and then leaves.
Yeah.
So
pretty smart.
Pretty smart.
Those twigs are poking me in the back, man. I'm gonna lay some more leaves on there. That's pretty good.
And you can see there that here's some great examples of how, you'll see that nice leafy, whatever. And here you have a couple of different types of fauna that they're using to kind of relax and chill.
Right.
One's on the ground. The other one is obviously in a tree, off the ground. And that happens. So next we talk about the orangutan nesting.
Yeah,
they build day and night nests. Initially, a suitable tree is located. Orangutans are selective about sites, even though many tree species are utilized. So they're a little bit picky. The foundation is built by pulling together branches. Now, you want to think chimpanzees are elaborate? These guys, they pull together branches under them by joining them at a point. After the foundation has been built, they bend smaller leafy branches on the foundation. This serves the purpose of and is termed as the mattress. After that, orangutans braid the tips of branches into the mattress.
Dude.
The orangutans make pillows by clumping together leafy branches with leaves in the center and twig shoots pointed outward. Pillows are added to night nests, but are usually absent from day nests.
Wow.
And a blanket consists of large leafy branches with which the orangutans cover themselves after laying down.
Wow. These guys are the Albert Einsteins.
And orangutans may create a waterproof overhead shelter for the nest by braiding together a loose selection of branches.
Okay.
So if you look at the three, the most complicated one.
I'm just completely blown away. I've never studied orangutans at all because they're such a small group, but they're only located in Borneo. I believe that's correct.
Well, if you think about it, gorillas are only located in certain spots in Africa, and so are chimps.
But
they all have. They're all. But it's very, very interesting.
That blows me away. I can't believe that. They're actually braiding stuff together. They're creating something.
So to me, it looks like the orangs they're making nests for what? Comfort. Comfort.
Dude. Yeah.
So, and hello, Laughing Picker. Welcome.
Welcome.
So
that's just awesome.
Yeah, and you look at the thickness of that one, it seems a little thicker than you would see like a chimp nest.
Right.
So they definitely,
these dudes, they're building one to lay down in that's comfortable, and they're also keeping the rain off their heads too.
And of course, human nesting.
Okay.
Human nesting. Humans build structures that are called constructions, but they can do. I don't know. Just looking for a random picture of a person, and that was in the cache car. And if you look at there's an Easter egg in that picture somewhere too. Just look
yes,
there is an Easter egg. I'll make it a little bigger for everybody. There we go.
Oh gosh!
Just look at the front porch.
Yeah. Igor has built him an igloo.
Freaking igloo in the neighborhood.
Out of concrete. Okay.
They're called constructions. They do serve the same function as non-human primate nests. In other words, we sleep there and blah, blah, blah. Modern constructions can be built with a variety of materials, most common ones being clay, concrete, stone, and wood. Obviously, we're primates, so this is about primate nesting.
Yeah.
And Boots on the Ground with Barb is in the house.
Welcome, Barb.
So anyway, it's kind of interesting.
Bernie's on the front porch.
So tree to ground sleep transition. While nest construction likely contributed to the great leap forward in the evolution of grape ape cognition. The tree-to-ground transition may have resulted in a similar leap in hominins. The proportion of nests at lower heights and on the ground increases in areas with lower or absent predation pressure.
Yeah.
So that makes sense, I think,
Right.
for a Sasquatch to be on the ground. Is because, let's face it, they don't have much predation. And if they're nocturnal, and I didn't have time to dig this up, but when Henner Fahrenbach took his did his statistical studies, even though there were a good amount of daytime sightings, the percentage of nighttime sightings was greater than that of the daytime sightings. So it wasn't that there was more in count. If you think about it, we are diurnal, so of course most of our sightings would be in the daytime.
Right.
So that's Tag et al. Showed that all subspecies of chimpanzee sometimes build night nests on the ground, which is, again, they're thinking, think about it. We have less predation at night, so because other animals are, the ones that, hence the poachers, and maybe the Homo sapiens are wandering around during the day, so we're going to sleep at night.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's the thing too. That's why I like to. When I would get out and do the boots on the ground in the field, I'd like to go during the day rather than at night, because at nighttime, man, they could be 20 feet away from you in the dark. And if they're standing still, being quiet, you'll never see them. You'll never hear them. You just walk right by them.
OT has a question, says, Steve, wasn't the Olympic Project doing something on nests? Wondering if there ever have been tree nests. Well, I know they have been. We had Shane on Corson on a while back. And they were investigating that. They were working with Derek Randalls and Dr. Jeff Meldrum trying to get some eDNA for that. I know they had an Indiegogo page for sponsorship to, get the money for testing of the eDNA, which was listed about $1,000 per sample. From all I know, I haven't heard anything except some of the hair samples, which seem to be primate in nature, but lack that medulla that will give us the genetic information. So, they've had a lot of success in nests with eDNA collection. However, I have heard nothing about the Olympic Project eDNA collection, if it's been sent to testing yet or not. So,
some of the photos of the nests structures like they had been finding, though, was really, really interesting.
It was.
And, I've never seen anything like that, and it's really cool.
Right. But then again, what does a Sasquatch nest look like?
I don't know.
I mean, we've seen 3 different primates who construct their nests in 3 separate ways.
Yeah.
How many nests did the Olympic Project find is a follow-up question. I have no idea. That would be a question for the Olympic Project. Yeah. So I do not know. David Wickham just popped in. Hello, David. He said 21 David. Initially, so he knows that number. Okay. I did not.
Cool.
So thank you, David, for answering that.
That's a lot of nests. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the photos that I've looked at, though, of those nests was really, I really liked it. I don't know if they are Sasquatch nests. I don't know, but it looks like it could be.
So here's and Aaron says, wouldn't those have to be some serious trees? Aren't Squatches pretty darn heavy? There's a lot. And Aaron, that's a great point because if you think about it, gorillas, when they're young, and to much of our extent, us when we're younger, and even if you notice, the older one gets in the primate world, the less we tend to climb. Unless, of course, we have a prehensile tail, and that's our major route of travel is trees, like the old world monkeys and the new world monkeys.
Right. So
the heavier we get, and we forget something too, we also get less nimble as we get older. When we're younger, we're always in the trees. Even as Homo sapiens, we have monkey bars, and we like to climb trees. And I don't know how many times you tell your kid, "Hey, get out of that tree!" Right? Why are you climbing it? You're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna come, down they go. Anyway, and the reason why is because number one, when we're younger, we're much more flexible, we're lighter, And the other thing is we're more nimble. We can move those, but we're also learning. We're learning how to use the hands and how to use the feet. And even though we may be 8, 9, 10 years old and we're still climbing trees, we're still learning. It's always that learning process. Then we get to a certain age, our teens, and we stop climbing trees so much. Now we do have some folks that I'm going to go rock climbing. Hey, that's fine. That's a hobby. That's an interest. And but as a Sasquatch, initially people keep saying, "Oh, well, I got to be like 1,200 pounds, 1,500 pounds." I don't see them that heavy. Maybe 500, 600 pounds tops. Something is 7 foot tall. They're not going to be 1,500 pounds.
Yeah, but they're probably the point being though they are way too heavy to be making them a little bitty nest out of branches and stuff to lay across up the tree.
Exactly, and the branches would have to be pretty. So can a Bigfoot climb a tree if it needs to? I'm sure it can. Can their young? So. Yeah. Will their young climb a tree? I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. Yeah. All the other primates would. Think about the New York, the pigeon video, or AKA the New York baby video, where you have that single one swinging in the tree while the bigger one is walking around on the bottom. Right. There's a reason why the big one didn't go up the tree. And meanwhile, the little one, who's very small, hard to say pretty small. I want to say smaller in comparison to the bigger one and to people. But is that a Bigfoot? Don't know.
Don't know, but I started out with that video being highly skeptical, Steve, and then after you pointed out some things and I got to watching it, studied frame by frame, I was like, hey, I like this.
Yep. And that's what you have to do is people that watch it on the preface say, but you sit there and you start watching it. Frame by frame. Mm-hmm. Then you start, learning. You start learning very carefully. Hang on, I'm just changing some things up here. Yeah. You start learning that there's something more to this film than what you're seeing. Right. Initially, because it's so quick. So, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. So considerations when building nests: predation, obviously, you want to stay clear from predators. Thermoregulation, in other words, you want to have a place that's either cool in the warmer areas, or you want places that are warm in the colder areas. Right. Avoidance of disease and parasites. That's also a big consideration amongst the primates. You want to avoid places that, are covered in feces or, covered in bat guano or any of that stuff. Right. Which is a big reason why I do not believe that a Sasquatch normally caves. Because number one, if most of the caves only have one way in and one way out. I'm sure if they were cave dwellers, we would be nailing them. We would have nailed at least a few of them by now, cornered in a cave. Right. So the other thing I would also say is that caves are traditionally cooler and damper and have bats sometimes and nests of, insects. So there is a number of reasons why I don't think a cave is an ideal place. In fact, you look at the other primates, with the exception of some baboons, most primates do not nest or house themselves in caves. Right. So, and welcome, Lester. So that's usually, big thing. Comfort, obviously, that you want to lay. And then again, a cave is not really that comfortable, is it?
Well, as far it'll be rocky and stuff in there,
or dusty.
Or dusty, yes, yeah. But now the temperature regulation is a big deal. So depending on where you're at, it could be from 55 degrees to 70 degrees. Right. So in the summertime, if you're like a big woolly hairy thing, that cool air might feel pretty good. And in the wintertime, if it's 0 degrees outside, you can go in here and it's 55, dude. That's like
But here's the other thing about that too. It seems to be the number one consideration is predation. Now, if you're a nocturnal animal, Yeah. All right. So that means you got to worry about the diurnal predators.
Right.
So you would avoid caves if you're nocturnal, and then you want to sleep during the day because that's where all your other nocturnals are sleeping. Your bears, your cats, they're all sleeping during the day. And they like sleeping in caves.
Right. Yeah.
Bears not so. Well, bears depend. Bears are iffy, but
they'll
cats
dig a
love
big
caves.
hole. Yeah.
Bats love caves.
Yes.
And what are there in bats? Lots of guano, lots of disease.
COVID.
COVID. Yeah,
parasites, yes.
and you're right. I agree. Caves don't typically have a separate exit. That's right. There may be some that do. They may have a smaller. I've been in a cave. In fact, I've been in Skinwalker Cave in New Mexico, and that has a smaller opening.
Yeah.
So, something to Sasquatch about. Welcome.
Good to see you. Yeah, made it in good.
And of course, Sean. So to me, that's so comfort. Obviously, you want to be in a place of comfort and spatial distancing. You want to be away from. You don't all. Primates like to have, even though their family group likes. It's not like coy dogs or coyote or anything like that, where they're pack sleepers. They tend to. Maybe the family unit sleeps, but then they sleep at a distance of. So you have that, and I'm just looking at some of the chat comments.
Yeah.
So again, this is an example of spatial distancing between chimpanzees' nests. As you can see, they took the middle section, and there were some considerations for other sites.
Right.
But you see, they're pretty evenly distributed out over an area.
Right.
So think about that in terms. If a Sasquatch group is nesting somewhere. The Bat Mom is in the house.
Bat Mom, welcome. With chimpanzees, they tend to kind of like hang out in groups too for security.
Right. They're very social, and it's all part, and that's also their tactic too when they hunt.
Right. Yeah.
Now, does a Sasquatch hunt in groups? There's been some reports where people have seen a couple of them coordinating, or maybe three of them coordinating.
Yeah. Let's see. Leon says, what's Leon's comment here?
Okay, so Bigfoot Okinawan said humans make bushcraft nests, and guess what they are called? Sasquatch nests. They look just like the nest found by the Olympic Project. You do a Google image search. Then that very well may be, and that may be very well be why they can't find DNA in that. So I'm not disputing that at all. Everything is up for, subjection. But if you have something like this, say the Olympic Project finds a whole line of nests like this, that to me is not indicative of a human type, like a single human going in there. Right? So they found 21 nests. That in itself, I would like to see the spatial distancing between those nests.
Yeah.
Because if you have one here and one here and one here and one here, okay, that could be human sitting there. Okay, I'm going to plot my nest here today and hang out. I'm going to plot my nest here or here or here, right? Bushcraft. And that's what they call it, bushcraft. However, if you have a whole line of nests that look like this, that's more primate-like or chimpanzee-like and gorilla-like and orangutan-like versus human-like. Because humans, when they hunt, think about, and this would be a good way of looking at this, and Leon, I hope you think about this, is that look at the reason why a nest is being made. We have just looked at the considerations why and the purposes for building a nest. Rest, comfort, avoidance of predation, thermoregulation, avoidance of disease and parasites, comfort, and spatial distancing. That's why they make their nests, right? And for sleep, when you have bushcraft, it's not made necessarily for long-term sleep or for necessarily all the same reasons they are. And you think that when you have bushcraft, it's a single solitary being, not a group or a clan or whatever you want to call them. Yeah. So if you think about that, if there's truly a clan, if they're truly nests that look like have this kind of spatial awareness to it, then that would be very indicative that there is a species rather than a solo hunter making a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Right? Makes no sense, right? And
yeah.
I mean, Chris says, my daughter asked me where Bigfoot sleeps this morning, and I would say he sleeps wherever the hell he wants. Hello, grass. Hello, grass.
Grasshopper.
Says Motel 6.
Motel 6, yeah. Leave the light on for you.
We'll leave the light on you for you. But yeah, so that would be a good way of looking at, is it bushcraft or is it...
I've never seen anything like that, in my treks through the woods in Kentucky. So that would be a new one. And I know some of the areas that I go through, were pretty hot areas, and I had seen creatures in that area. So I never found a nest like that. Doesn't mean there aren't any over there, I don't guess, but it means I didn't find any. And I did quite a bit of walking at that time, around 12 miles a day, which for me at that time was pretty good.
Now, if you think about it, now we're all Homo sapiens here. Out of all those considerations, which of those would you put first? There's a good question. How about the chat? Out of all those considerations,
I got mine already.
Which one? Hey, Pat is in the house. Hello, Pat.
Hey, Pat. Welcome.
Out of all those considerations, as a human, which of first would you place into those considerations for building a nest or bushcraft? Myself would be comfort.
Number one, comfort.
And part of that comfort would be out of the elements.
Central Florida Bigfoot. It says easy.
Comfort for me, please. And then, hey.
The nest with a woman in it. Okay.
OT says defense. Oh, no. OT says defense. I don't, maybe if you're going to think of it like I'm walking in the woods and I need to bed down for the night. What's the first consideration? I wouldn't say defense. Depends on where you're walking, I suppose. If you're thinking about, it depends what kind of terrain you're in. If you're thinking about bears or mountain cat, maybe. I know my first probably consideration, if I'm walking around the Dax, my first consideration is I'm going to find myself a nice, comfortable place, first of all. And then the rest of it will follow. Like, okay, is it comfortable? Yes. Is it avoiding predation? Okay. Yes. Okay. Is it thermoregular? Well, it may not be, but I got stuff in my bag or my pack that can take care of that. So
that's the thing. Cause now, of course, we were talking about like thousands and thousands of years ago, there would be different considerations for what we have today. Right. Like number one, we're not really concerned about predation. Okay.
Right.
If a bear or a mountain lion comes at me, I'll just pull out the pistol and boom.
Now let's
a couple shots in the air or something. He's gone.
Right. Now let's look at this way. Let's look at it from this angle as well. What if we're a group of 5 or 6 people? All of a sudden, predation does not become a big issue for us as Homo sapiens.
Right.
As it is, we're apex. We, let's say we have a gun with us or whatever.
Right.
And we're, let's say we don't have a gun for that matter, but, strength in numbers. So you got 4 or 5 people with you. All of a sudden, predation comes down the list a little bit because there's strength in numbers. So again, what's the first thing you're going to be looking for? Is comfort.
Yeah.
Thermoregulation. You're all going to spread out a little bit, so you'll have spatial distancing, so your snoring doesn't wake up your neighbor. Or if, or if in my case, I had the spicy tacos that night, I don't wake somebody out with other noises. So anyway, that's a horrible thought.
Spatial distancing.
A horrible thought. Make all the water curdle. Anyway,
need some spatial distancing after Steve had the spicy tacos.
That's right. But yeah, so that's just some of the thought processes for that. So pop quiz. What kind of nests are we looking at there, folks? Anybody want to venture a guess what we're looking at? We'll give people a few seconds because it's just coming up on the screen now from when I see it. So
if you're walking out in the backwoods and you run up on this, what's your first thought?
Is that Sasquatch? Is that a Sasquatch nest? Never mind that fortune cookie thing in the middle. So we have several things. We have, is it a Sasquatch nest? Is it a bushcraft? Or maybe I'm sneaking a somebody said Smurf nest.
Smurf nest.
That's
well,
it.
Yeah. I was going to guess Easter bunny, but
Smurf nest. Okay, so
Easter
this
bunny
one
nest. It's an Easter bunny nest. That's what it is.
Okay, so in actuality, that's a bear nest. Yes, bears do den sometimes.
I'd seen this before the show started, folks, and that surprised me. I was like, "What? Really? What?" Sure enough,
that's actually a bear, and they'll curl up in there. Okay, how about these? All right, next one. So that one is just going to come up now. So I'm just trying to coordinate the answers. Okay, here we go. So there we are.
Yeah.
Take a look. What do you think, folks?
Yeah, I was.
This one
B.
totally fooled Chris.
Yeah, I was with B on this one.
Central Florida.
Yeah. It
says eagle.
That's what
Anybody
I thought.
else want to venture a guess?
Bird of
eagle.
prey, eagle or something. Yeah, buzzard, something big.
Anything else? Anybody else? Does a bear nest? Oh, yes, it does. If a bear poops in the wood, nobody's there to hear it. Does it make a noise? Anyway, okay, so here we go. We got the guesses being ventured.
Yeah.
Squirrels, I don't know.
Squirrels, yeah. Oh, you know what they do with leaves? They do. They make big nests like that with leaves.
No,
so.
That one is also a bear.
A bear.
They do nest. They will nest in trees sometimes.
Yeah. I was shocked. I was like, what? No way, dude.
Yeah, that's also a bear, believe it or not. And I decided that this time to put a black bear, just because. Last one was a brown bear. Now I'm going to do a grizzly bear.
There's a teddy bear nest, maybe. I don't know.
Nothing like a good old Ursa. So yeah, that one was a. All right, folks, how about this one? Now, how many times have we seen YouTubers saying, "Look at the Bigfoot nest"?
Yeah,
look at the Bigfoot nest. Let me climb in. Well, Ryder thinks that this is possibly a three-toed Biscardi nest. Nope. There was an absence of Snapple bottles.
I've seen lots of these.
And hold on. Anytime you have a Biscardi nest, there's Snapple bottles around. So we're okay there.
Look for the empty Snapple bottle. And it has to be Diet Peach bottles. Yeah.
Do we have a winner? Winner, chicken
Ding,
dinner.
ding, ding.
Bing, bing, bing. That's a coyote.
That's right.
Man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we got lots of them around.
Yep. There you go.
But, I don't think the coyote actually makes that. I think they just kind of like, they find a big pile of crap and like burrow into it.
I don't know. I've been in a Dax and found a pretty large one. And the funny thing was, it was right off a trail.
Yeah.
I mean, you're walking the trail, and there it is, 10 feet off the trail.
Yeah, but dude, look at the ends of those things. Those have been chainsawed. So unless the coyote's got a steel 20-inch chain.
They may grab them and drag them.
That's true, I guess.
They may grab them and drag them. They ain't going to be chopping down trees.
No.
How about this one?
Yeah, I got that one.
What do you think, folks? That one's going to come up here in about 5 seconds. So we're a little there. We are.
Well, there's a delay. There's a delay once it gets up on the screen.
Yeah, well, they have to give me a 7-second delay because you know me.
Yeah.
What the hell?
A hippo.
Okay. The first one up.
Leon.
The first one on this one was Lester Taylor. Of course,
Lester.
we also have James. Welcome, James. If we didn't say hello to you, welcome.
Hi, James.
Pat, Bob.
Squatch Talk. Pat.
Squatch.
Yeah.
Bing, bing, bing.
Hey,
You got it. Beaver.
Yeah, Beaver. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So now let's talk about some considerations with a Sasquatch.
Oh, no. The porcelain. Where did he get his porcelain throne he's sitting on there? There's no way, dude. No.
Ace.
Yeah.
Ace Hardware. So.
But that beaver one, though, you know, Steve kind of pulled a slick one there. He didn't show, like, you can't really tell it's right near the water, and it's kind of hard to tell. But if you see the sharpened ends, you know, the sharpened where the beaver had been chewing the trees down, yeah, that's a giveaway. Giveaway.
So, and we got to look at it from the aspect of different animals. Again, bears nest for different reasons, and just Google the term bear nests, and they are there, believe it or not. So that, you know, I found. Guess who just showed up?
Whoa, Mick.
Mick's in the house.
Welcome,
Here we
Mick.
are. Here comes trouble.
Mick, we was just talking about beavers.
Please don't tell him that. He'll go on for the next half hour. So,
Talking about beaver nest,
right.
And Steve showed an American eagle or an eagle nest up in
No.
the trees, and he's trying to play it off as a bear. Did it?
That
I
was
don't
a bear
believe that.
nest.
I
God
don't believe that.
Dang it. I was a bear nest. I wouldn't lie. Why would I lie?
But you know, I saw all the sticks and everything. I'm thinking, oh, that's a bird of prey. That's like something big, eagle or a hawk or a buzzard or something big.
Buzzard.
Yeah, buzzard. Turkey vulture. Keep it clean. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, they're clean. Yeah.
They're in a pond. Of course they're clean.
Yes.
Anyway, you know, God forbid we talk about cougars. B says Mick, Chris is trying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you, B.
So anyway, we're just going to take a quick moment here, just so people know there will be no Squatch-D TV next Sunday night because we'll be on assignment. So what, Chris? Are you looking behind you for something?
Yeah. That's my TV was on screensaver and it just popped up. I'm like, what? Who changed the channel?
The ghost. And that's right.
Sasquatch Festival Saturday, September 25th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Whitehall, New York. Guest speakers include the one and only Squatchinator, Steve Kulls.
I'm not the Squatchinator. I'll be back.
Squatchinator, we'll take it. I like that. With the Squatch detective, Steve Kulls.
Get me to the tree knocker.
Yeah, that's funny, Mike. Squatchinator.
Of course, I said the magic word to Mick.
Cougars.
So, anywho, yeah. So next Sunday, I'm actually going to be out on mission. Saturday night, I'll be on mission. Sunday night, I'll be in mission. So it's going to be a busy weekend for me. And Monday, I'm taking off just to soak my head in the in a pot of hot water or something, just to. So, oh really? We're going to play that game? All right, really? Who's Steve Kulls? Come on, will you? Oh, here's an idea. Will I do a show Sunday Halloween night? Yes, absolutely. We can. That's a good theme night. Maybe we'll do the scariest Bigfoot movies or the dumbest Bigfoot movies, depending. That'd be a good idea.
You know, as we near Halloween, though, I completely expect a lot more videos to surface on YouTube because a lot of people are going to be buying gorilla costumes for Halloween.
Bigfoot
and there's
costumes.
always, oh yeah, let's put it on and film a Bigfoot video. Every year.
So I guess the big point of tonight is trying to get some thought from people, provoking thought of, you know, you see a nest. Does it make sense? You know, how many times have we seen all these tree bends? Oh, it's a Bigfoot nest, and it's a tree bend. Like, where does it sleep? We see other things that could easily be confused. As we can see, you know, everybody's going bear nests. Yeah, they do. So are people confusing bear nests with Sasquatch nests? You know, and one thing, the one thing that's really important is the amount of dung around those nests. Because you think about it, if there's a Bigfoot nest, there's got to be dung, because they're going to get up, they're going to move off, because unlike elk, deer, and other ungulates, when an ungulate rests and then it decides it's going to get up, it will crap right then and there, right into its nest, right into where it was bedded down for the night, and move on.
Yeah.
Right? But a primate will not. A primate will go someplace else.
Right.
Because then they may decide to come back to the nest and lay down for a little bit more. So if you think about it, there's got to be an area around these nests that's going to have a dump site. No pun intended. You know, and if you're not finding that, if you find a nest and then a little while later you find some bear scat or some, you know, yote scat, or, you know, I didn't even look up wolf dens, but I could have, or wolf nests. Just Google the terms. You can find pictures online all day.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, if there's scat nearby and it belongs to a bear, guess what you found? You found a bear nest.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like this coyote den that is in the Dax. Yes, there was coyote scat around it as well. And you put your nose in that nest and take a, because you would smell dog urine.
Right.
Because they mark their nests, right?
Yeah.
Bears do the same thing. They mark their stuff, urination. They rub their backs on trees. They do all kinds of stuff like that. So there's going to be other sensory factors involved in determining what kind of nest you're looking at.
Yeah.
Now, with the Olympic project, I'm assuming they've done all of that, and I can't, because I can't tell for sure because I wasn't there.
No. Yeah.
But those are some of those things that, you know, have I come across structures in the forest that I can't readily explain, but then a little bit later I look around and see scat nearby. Yes. And that's why you very rarely see me put anything about nests out there. Now, have I found a couple of structures? Yes, I have. But after reviewing the reasons why primates nest, I can rule those out now as just anomalies. Huh? Well, that was like a 7-minute delay on the 7-second delay. Oh, well, you know what? Pat, call me after the show tonight. We got to catch up. So,
Some comments over here in the chat. Bob says the dumbest Bigfoot movie is I Killed Hitler and Bigfoot 2. And that sucks because I like Sam Elliott. Yeah.
Hey,
Bob, I love Sam Elliott movies too.
I know. Let's save the movies for movie night, which are going to be Halloween.
Yeah.
Nick says, I'm still skeptical about Sasquatch nest until I see solid. Exactly, as we should be with everything.
Right.
Wow. Rod Dupree comes up with the best one of the night. Best way to know if it's a coyote nest is to look for the Acme boxes.
That's pretty good, Rod. Yeah.
Jay says, that sounds fun to me, going around smelling for poop in the woods. Not. Well, man, that's what you do as a tracker. Unfortunately, I've, there's a video. In fact, it's on the intro. You see me picking up, yote scat. And through that yote scat, you can see what they're eating. Same thing with, like black bear scat. Black bear scat usually has a lot of berries in it and maybe some nut remnants and some foliage in it and maybe some small bones and maybe a squirrel or some small animals. grizzly bear scat, all of the same, but in that particular scat, it smells like pepper spray. So that's right. Poop everywhere. Poop, Mr. Zion.
Yeah.
In fact, I actually snuck that on one of my videos last week. And oh boy, the comedians are out tonight. I'll tell you.
They are, in full force.
At least our listeners over there on Anchor FM and Stitcher and iHeartRadio and Amazon and all the other Pandora and all those other folks, they can hear this funniness here. But Mike Stetton says tracking bear can get you arrested. Wear clothes.
Good advice, Mike.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh man.
And it could be very embarrassing if you get caught that way too, as well. Oh, boo. So in looking at, I think it's so important to understand that to avoid those false positives, to understand how a primate nests and why they nest. Not so much even, because we don't know what kind of material a Sasquatch uses. We only know, and we can see the material and the way they weave their nest varies from gorilla to chimp to orang to us. Right. So it's really, really difficult to tell. And as we can see, if we're looking at the nests that other creatures build, such as, bear and, beaver and, even coyotes, and I'm sure wolves are similar. I didn't even look and see if hogs do it, because hogs may. I think they lay, though. I think they just kind of, but because they try to keep cool. But anyway, if you look at those animals, it's so hard to differentiate. How many people knew that bears made nests like that? Nobody, hardly anybody. I didn't know.
The bear nest in the trees. I was shocked. I was like, no way, dude. No way. Right. But there it is. Yeah.
Yep. Well, Mick says dating bears can also get you arrested or killed. Well, dating bears will not get you a Super Bowl ring here in the United States.
That's red.
That's bad. Sorry to all our friends in Chicago.
Yeah.
And Illinois. But right now, everybody in Green Bay, Wisconsin is laughing. Anyway, so to me, the interesting thing is that now one of the things when I do these things, I become part of that learning process. I learn it, and then I try to give it to everybody else. And just putting it in there, it comes up with so many questions I would have to the Olympic project. First and foremost is, is this bushcraft? What is the spatial distancing? I think that is a great determination whether or not, if there's a family group of Sasquatch, they're not going to all stay in one nest. And, as we know, primates, how they habitate in groups or clans. So we know that if you find an area where they're nesting, there's going to be multiple nests, which kind of, if they found 21 nests, I need to get on the Olympic project, take a look at how they found the nests, where they found the nests, and there's other things too, is that if you find 21 nests, a primatologist could go in there and start looking at the nests, looking at the dung piles, considering on the rate of nest decay.
Yeah.
Determine how fresh they are. They can actually come up with a formula to come up with a population.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, then guess what? You're probably not dealing with.
Well, see, that's the whole thing, though. If they could find some scat somewhere, I mean, It's game over, because now with the testing procedures they have,
right,
they can get skin cells that have been shed from the inside of the intestines. Right. And boom, we got DNA match there, or DNA sample. But surely, if they're trying to do, didn't you say, Steve, they're doing a what was it?
eDNA.
They're doing something trying to raise a campaign to raise money to do eDNA?
No, that has ended a while ago.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. It only made 63% of goal, which they were trying to
Yeah.
raise 7,500. I think they raised like $4,000.
Oh man.
So a bunch of questions. Here we go. Does anyone know the date and year the first alleged Sasquatch nest was found? Well, I actually believe that there was some reports from the Four Horsemen. I'm not quite sure, but I remember there being some reference in one of their books to this bedding area being found near a trackway. So it was a while ago. So it's nothing. This is not a new thing like the tree bend thing. That was kind of a new age type of thing that started. We saw popping up probably not even. Like even in 99, I didn't see that. 98, 99, I didn't see that. Probably didn't start seeing that till about 2008, 2009. Coincidentally, that's really when Facebook started taking off. So, you got to look at what social media has kind of steered things to. So, and those tree bends were one of them. Nests. I've always seen that. In fact, if you look at the Ridge Walker video, where the one in Washington State, apparently or allegedly they found this nest, and to me it looks like a coyote den, to tell you to be truthfully. And they're like, oh, look at this thing, and then all of a sudden they see a Sasquatch walking on the ridge, or what they think is a Sasquatch.
Oh yeah. I think I've seen that. I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, I saw that nest.
Yeah.
And, since it's in a relatively, easy to access area by humans, I'm thinking the Sasquatch nest theory is just out the window on that one.
Mick very well could have been burned, but it could have also been could also have been DeHinden as well in the book he wrote with Don Hunter. But
yeah, I think Peter Byrne described
a nest.
Yeti nests.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. David pops in and says 21 nests were in various states of decay and disuse. Project Zubuk sent 2 primatologists out to the Olympic project nest. And my question to David, and had I known David had such, I would have brought him on the show tonight, because really it wasn't about necessarily the Olympic project. I was but people are steering towards that because obviously. But David, I would ask you the question: have there been any results at all of those nests or anything that's been made public yet? And thank you, Lester. Marble Mountain.
Marble Mountain. That's right, Lester.
Mountain. Yep.
They had a really big, humongous shelter there, and it's like really nice, dude. You could take up living in that thing.
Right. Which is telling me that could either be a coyote den, because, coyotes sleep in big numbers and they're pack animals.
Yeah.
Or it could be bushcraft.
I think bushcraft.
Because you think about it.
That's the one I'm stuck on. Yeah.
Right. There was a scout trip. So,
yeah.
Other than that, we really haven't seen, that and the whole Olympic project. We haven't seen too many really legitimized nests. I know Mitch Waite had some stuff in the Mogollon Ridge in Arizona, claiming that they were Bigfoot nests. I've seen them again. I revert. They look like bushcraft or could be coyote nests or coyote dens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Marble Mountain, you go look again, obvious bushcraft. Yeah. And that was one of my things. It's either a coyote den or bushcraft. Sometimes it's hard to tell because those damn yotes, they get into places, or they could take over bushcraft.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: like the one in the Adirondacks, definitely yote den. There was tracks to back that up, scat to back that up.
Yeah.
And really, with the camping areas, there are really not many people bushcraft. So not in that particular area, anyway.
I've never seen a nest, whether it be a bear nest or a Bigfoot nest or whatever. That doesn't mean that they don't do that. but I've not been lucky enough to see that.
Yep. So yeah, so I definitely would rule out a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You start looking at it going, who the hell knows? I mean, it could be a bear. Again, it comes to that scientific test. It comes to basically your own tracking sense. Are there tracks? Is there scat? Are there scents?
Yeah.
You know, can you see hair? Can you see, you know, predation? And, you know, usually you may see a yote drag something back to their den to eat. Same with a bear. So you may see an animal that has been predated, and upon inspection of that predation and level, if you can tell, and you know, bears eat bones. You know, and if you've ever seen a black bear eat chicken, I've watched these black bears being fed whole chickens, and they just put them in their mouth, crunch, 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 swallow. So there's nothing left.
Well, that's the thing. If you find something like that in the woods, though, you want to use your tracking skills.
So David says, I think there was hair evidence at the site, need DNA scientifically collected, but money needed to test. Yep. Somebody said, what about the one found on expedition Bigfoot? LOL. Don't get me started.
Oh.
Don't get me started. It's just, I think it's.
I don't know.
Truthfully, I haven't seen it. I don't watch the show.
Neither.
I just don't watch the show because, you know, after that first season, when seeing that, the Antoine Ranch and being, you know, it's a Cinnabar mine. Yeah. I'm out. Sorry.
I watched the first season. You know, of course, I knew it was pretty much okay. They're putting this together for entertainment. But I watched the first season. But after the first season, then after we found out the details of it, I didn't even watch the second season, or second or third. I don't even know what it is now, but
yeah. And like I say, the important thing here is, hang on a second.
And I watch Butchie Kid's YouTube videos.
Yeah. And like the biggest thing always to remember when finding a nest is predation, thermoregulation, avoidance of disease and parasites, comfort, and spatial distancing. You know, if somebody comes along and says, I found this Sasquatch nest along this river or along this swamp. What do you think? No, because they're going to try to avoid the parasites. I wouldn't want to camp near a swamp.
No.
I don't even like walking near them because of the amount of, depending on year, the amount of mosquitoes. I'm sure in Central Florida, they're horrible. The mosquitoes are probably, you put them on leashes.
Dude, they have got these yellow flies, or I don't know. I guess they're flies, and they will eat you alive.
And the red hornets.
Yeah, well, I don't know about those, but
they're
the
very
yellow flies things, whatever they are, man, they are wicked bloodsuckers, and I think they fatten up on off. They love off.
I think Mick's wife or ex is making a meatloaf again.
Careful, Mick. Yeah. Central Florida Bigfoot. He probably knows about those yellow flies, dude. Oh.
Yep. So Bob says he believes he found a nest in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I found a closer pines with all the tops snapped off, about 12, 13 foot high. And then I found them laying across a stream about 3 feet wide. Well, is that a nest? Why would it be across a stream? To me, it may be somebody trying to cross the stream without. But that being said, without seeing it, I can't really evaluate it.
Fish trap.
Yeah, you can't really evaluate it.
Could be a fish trap.
Yeah. And very true. A city kid would think beaver dams are nests, actually. Well, they are. They're beaver nests.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and Jay Fritz says the mosquito is the Florida state bird.
Yeah.
So,
I believe that, Jay.
Trees are snapped about 12, 13. It was about 95 degrees. So did they set something up? You think maybe they put that down there in the stream to get cool with the water, the running water, maybe? I don't know. Possibly. But
sounds
then
like
again,
a good plan to me.
Yeah. It's very bizarre that the amount of trees, bro. But here's the thing. The trees were snapped about 12, 13 feet high. Is it possible, and again, I don't know, Upper Peninsula listening, is it possible a windstorm came through or maybe winter came through and snapped those treetops off with a storm, and then somebody came along and just laid them across the creek, either to cross it or maybe to trap something. I don't know. But when
you find stuff like that, it's like you could write a book on it. Speculation. Well, what the heck could they have been doing?
And that's not a bad idea either. Maybe we'll do that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not a bad idea. I'll put that on.
Bigfoot. Yeah, it says you should do a show where people submit photos for you to look at.
Yeah, submit your evidence, your Bigfoot photos, whatever,
love looking at that stuff,
for a live show analysis. Yeah, we can do that. Which reminds me, I'm in the process of doing some evidence evaluation for a upcoming documentary, and I am going to keep mom on that as well.
Yeah. Bob said none of the other trees around these trees were snapped. So, yeah, that's interesting, Bob.
That certainly is.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen that myself just to I found a tree snapped like that, too, in the Dax just out of nowhere, and it wasn't snapped earlier in the night because I would have noticed it.
Yeah.
And that was right after some of the guys had some pine cones thrown at them. And I always worry about people saying, well, I had pine cones thrown at me. But the funny thing is the pine cones had already dropped. So they were laying about the ground. They weren't coming from the trees. So,
right.
Max is listening too. Hello, Max. He's hiding out.
Hey, Max.
Yeah. So we have to take all of that into consideration. Trying to think what else. So, if there's no other questions on nesting, we can move on and we can talk about a couple other things coming up on Squatch-D TV and what to expect. So, but anyway, so Chris, as you know, I don't know where I did with the graphic. There it is. As you know, come on. Sorry, taking a little longer than expected. There it is.
This is episode 71. All right. Sasquatch Festival. Yay.
That's right. That's where we'll be next week. Hopefully we'll see Mike Stetton out there. Make sure you come over there and kick me. It's going to be a long weekend for me. Oh,
well, it's going to be fun. But we're not going to be doing a show next weekend, right?
Yeah. No, will be no show next week. So no show. What we may do is we may put a best of episode. I'll preload, but I don't know if I have to be there to push the trigger. I don't know. I'll have to take a look, but I may be able to put a best of show on next week, maybe a replay of something just to keep things rolling.
Yeah.
But as you can see, Mike Ann will be there, Tactical Bigfoot Research, talking.
All right.
Emily, I talked about the Forest Fleur. Well, there's Emily Fleur and Connor Anderson talking. They'll be there. Mike Familian, another one. We're trying to get Mike on the show. The guys from Kark, we'll try to get them on the show as well. I mean, it's just going to be a great, really great lineup. And we're actually getting people, that haven't talked in the past. Of course, Paul Bartholomew, he's been on the show, and we've got videos on the channel of him. That's going to be a fun time. And, of course, the Mystical Beer Garden. Now, I lobbied really hard to have my presentation in the Mystical Beer Garden, but somehow it got nixed.
Do I see that right? Are they having a costume contest? Is this going to be a Bigfoot costume contest or what?
I suppose I didn't really.
That's interesting.
Yeah. The calling contest is the big event of the night.
Yeah,
and it's going to be, and of course I'm emceeing the calling contest. So that's always fun. I've done it every year.
That's going to be good. That's going to be fun for the kids too.
So yep, the
love
kids
making it fun for the kids.
Yep. So should be a good time there.
Yeah.
And of course the events afterwards, it's going to be invite only. So Mike, kick me. I may have you come along if you're up for it. We have a little activity we're doing Saturday night. I'll have the entire field team there. I've got a couple coming from Mass, 3 or 4 coming from Mass, 3 coming from the other side of the state of New York. I got my 2 other local 2, 4, 5 other investigators coming that are local. So I got quite the team. That's just the team itself. So,
oh man, I would love to get up there, Steve. But dude, if I was going to show up in Whitehall next weekend, I would have had to started
last
yesterday.
week.
Yeah, I would have started a road trip yesterday because we do about 80 miles and like, okay, it's time for a motel. Stop.
And good night, Jay.
See you, Jay. Thanks for dropping in, bud.
So yeah, so there'll be a lot of things, and then Sunday night. Oh boy, Sunday night's the real one I'm looking forward to, and we'll see what happens. And it'll be a new area to us, so and it's going to be a little more remote than some of the other places we've been. So I'm really excited about the Sunday night mission, and then Monday night will be repairing all the mosquito wounds. Although it is getting cooler at night. I don't have an accurate temperature right now. It says, it's 54 degrees. So that's
Steve, OT asked, will the festival be streamed somewhere?
No, it will not. Unfortunately, they don't plan on streaming it. It's kind of
some way you could stream your presentation. That would be good.
I could. Yeah. Well. Now you've given me food for thought, Mr. Bennett.
Yeah, I would love to be there, man. But the distance.
Well, I may live stream some of the events that night, that day. I don't know about my presentation because I'm in the middle of doing my presentation, so that kind of gets kind of busy. And I'll be taking the pavilion. As you can see, there's the town hall, where they're going to be in the town hall, and then the pavilion, which is right on site. I'm going to be in the pavilion, so. I hope the live music doesn't interfere with the presentation. Sometimes it did a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So we'll have to talk about that when I get there. It's like if it's too loud, I'm going to watch the first presentation. I'll be there for the first and second presentation anyway. So by the time I go on, like, hey, this isn't going to work if I have to yell over the music. So I mean, I could stream some of it YouTube throughout the day. So we'll see what we can do.
That would be good. Or if you see somebody up, do just a quick hi, how you do, and then put a little short video up on YouTube or something.
Yep. And Aaron
is, I know you're going to be under a lot of pressure and you're going to be really busy there. So
Aaron said he'll be in Ticonderoga for the Star Trek convention. I'll try to get down there. Yeah, stop down. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at least. And then the breakdown will probably go. So I'll be there probably till like 7. So come on down, see us.
Yeah.
It's not that far. I think Ticonderoga is only like 30 miles from Whitehall where we're having it. Come on down, say hello, stop in for a few minutes, get a little food, and then back to Mr. Spock.
My old neighbor, William Shatner.
Yeah. I mean, he's made a few trips up to the Ticonderoga. They have a great museum up there with a replica bridge, the Enterprise Bridge and stuff like that.
Did you know that Bill Shatner was a Kentuckian for a little while?
And so was Lee Majors, the Bionic Man.
Oh, yeah. Roundabout. Well, they were probably within a couple of miles of each other up there, if you look at the properties.
But Bill Shatner is a Canadian.
Yeah, he is. But I was he had a property up there at Versailles, Kentucky for a little while until I think him and his wife split and she ended up with the property. And that very well we could do a YouTube short on that. So, it's a hefty price to meet William Shatner at one of those events. I think it's like $100. But he's cool. And he did a lot of other stuff besides Star Trek too. I mean, we're talking about movies and TV stuff again. I'm sorry, folks.
Yeah, George Takei is going to be there. Oh my!
But Lee Majors bought the castle up there in Lexington for Farrah Fawcett back in the 70s, and that's pretty cool.
If George Takei is going to be in Ticonderoga, you can bet Shatner is not. They do not get along.
They don't get along
at all. Nope.
It's see, that's one thing. Shatner always called him Takai, okay, and then but his real name is pronounced Takei, as in, and it's his way he would tell him. It's a Bill. It's pronounced Takei, as in toupee.
I gotcha. Toupee. Oh, that's a double stab.
Oh, it was terrible. I love both those guys, though. I don't care if they get along or not.
Yeah, if Shatner really wanted to rib on him, he could call him George Tacky.
Yeah, that's true. That would hang in there.
But
anyway, for the '60s, man, they did great work.
Mick said, "I'm back. False alarm. Someone overcooked fish on a lower floor." Actually, I was kind of worried that somebody overcooked meatloaf.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's good. Overcooked fish, though, that'll be there for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I like that idea of having people submit their photos. If you want to submit your photo for evaluation, what we're going to take, maybe we'll take like the 5 best that we get. And
yeah, Mick, back when Steve Austin, when Lee Majors was married to Farrah Fawcett back in the 70s, he bought her a castle in Lexington, Kentucky, and it's really cool. You see, it's when you get off the parkway at Versailles and you head towards Lexington, it's on the left between Versailles and Lexington on it's Highway 60, and it's a castle up on top of the hill. But believe it or not, I don't think he owns it now, but it burned down.
Yep.
A castle.
And that's because Austin 316 says, "I just kicked your ass." Oh, wrong Austin. I'm sorry.
I don't know how you can burn down a castle. Aren't they supposed to be like made of stone or something? I guess it must have had a lot
not modern day castles.
Okay, yeah.
Not modern day castles. No.
It was actually pretty cool.
So anyway, Chris, I think we can sign off for the night tonight.
Yeah, man.
We've had a great show. We've talked about a lot of ideas and stuff like that. We're going to be picking up we haven't had guests on the last few weeks. We're going to start putting guests on again. As you know, we like throwing a variety of shows and we like talking about things sometimes. And now we're getting our talk out. It's back now in 2 weeks. We're going to have a lot of investigation video, I am sure. And we're going to do a recap of the Sasquatch Festival. We are going to be talking about some of the investigation. We'll have some of the video and sounds and whatever we've come across over the course of the 2 nights we're investigating. Of course, I'm not going to tell you where, but we're going to be in the Whitehall area on day 1. Day 2, we're not. So, again, with everybody in town for a Sasquatch Festival, I kind of worry about doing a Sasquatch. So it's not going to be so serious the first night. It's going to be more of okay, everybody take a look around. We're not going to try some deep stuff. Sunday night, we will. Sunday night will be, the old gonads to the wall. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. So we will be back in 2 weeks. I'm going to try to see if I can't get a best of show set for next week. But if I don't, I don't. And if not, we will catch everybody in 2 weeks. Chris, any final thoughts on tonight?
Well, I just want to
first of all, did you learn anything?
Oh man, I learned a lot, which that's not very difficult for me because I can learn a lot any day. But I want to thank our wonderful audience for being with us and joining with us and being in the chat. You asked some great questions. I love the participation, guys. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. And if it's your first time watching on YouTube, consider giving us a like, share, subscribe.
Make sure you hit that notification bell.
It helps. Yeah. You'll be notified as Steve puts up new videos.
Or not. Some people will get their notifications late. I apologize. That's not my doing.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. One of the things too, I want to thank all our Anchor FM listeners. Yeah. Without our service, you're listening to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Audible, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Radio Public. There's a ton of them we're on.
Yeah, Pandora, Breaker, yeah.
Yep. Castbox. So we're on
Apple Podcasts.
And I know that graphic does not have Audible or Amazon, but we are now on Audible and Amazon.com as well. Of course, we stopped airing to Facebook, with the new season, because it just was not conducive to making things easy for us. And so people come over to the YouTube channel and watch it at their will. In fact, it turned out that we were getting more watchers on YouTube versus Facebook anyway.
Yeah.
And the same with Twitter. We used to broadcast on Twitter. We used to get a couple of watchers from there. But now that's why I think we've seen a lot of new names into our YouTube channel. And we thank you for all coming over here and following us. And we appreciate, we can't do this show without you guys. We love all of you. You guys are inspiration to us, because it's kind of funny. We have a devious sense of humor, me and Chris, and we've always put that in the show. And I watch our chat, and our chat has just bought into that sense of humor, and I love it all of it. It keeps us all hopping. So thank you very much, guys.
The guys in chat are just killing me, because a lot of times I have to mute out because I'm busting out laughing so hard.
Yeah. So somebody was burning fish. Oh, maybe a good thing it wasn't a meatloaf. So the running joke, and the joke of the night. The joke of the night, I gotta say, was you can always tell a biscardi nest. It's got all Snapple bottles hanging around it. Diet Peach specifically. Anyway, gotta have some fun. But anywho, I want to thank everybody for being here, and y'all stay safe over the next couple of weeks and stay healthy. We love you all, and I don't know what much more I can say. We'll see you here in 2 weeks' time, October 3rd, October 2nd, maybe. Well, anyway, we'll see you the first Sunday of October with hopefully a bunch of good stuff.
October 3rd. Yeah.
October 3rd. Yeah, I was right on the first one. Yep. There we go. So anyway, everybody keep safe. Be safe. We'll catch you all here next 2 weeks here on Squatch-D TV, 9 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, coming back October 3rd. Holy crap, Chris. This is our last summer. Is it still summer? Yeah, it's still summer. But next show, it's not summer anymore.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Well, that's good.
Yeah. Fall. All right, guys. We'll catch you all here next week, or catch you all here in 2 weeks, rather. And, of course, God bless. Stay safe and keep on squatching.
Hey, folks, you've been watching Squatch-D TV. Join us each week, Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, for the latest on the Bigfoot mystery. As always, we thank you for being our loyal viewers and encourage all to subscribe to our YouTube page at youtube.com/Steve Kulls. As always, have a great week. Stay safe. God bless. And keep on squatching.